Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Anaïs Bio and I am the Creative Development and Partnerships Manager at Xtrax. I am a white woman in my late 30s. I have long blonde hair and today I am wearing a blue dress with some white swans. I use the pronouns she and her. I am delighted to be welcoming you to the second day of our first ever outdoor dance collection 2021. It is a new dance and outdoor arts industry program as part of the Birmingham International Dance Festival professional strand. It has been developed with a view to supporting and building the market for UK dance and assisting artists in developing, promoting, and disseminating work. Outdoor Dance Collection has two strands: the Dance Showcase, which started yesterday and is running all day today, and the Dance and Outdoor Symposium taking place next week on the 8th and 9th of June. The Showcase program has been devised and produced in partnership with Dance Exchange, a dance development organization for the region of the West Midlands and producers of BIDF, and Dance 4, a dance development organization from Nottingham as part of their Dance from England program, and Xtrax. Xtrax is a Manchester-based development organization for outdoor arts, and we run Platform for UK, a strategic project designed to support the promotion and export of UK outdoor arts. The Dance and Outdoor Symposium has been devised and produced by 101 Outdoor Arts Creation Centre, which is one of the UK's major creation spaces for UK outdoor artists, and the Place, the UK's premier centre for contemporary dance. You will find all the details of the programme here on the Feedloop platform under the Sessions tab. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Arts Council of England, without whom much of this activity would not be possible. Coming back to your session, I'm very pleased to say that you're more than 200 people from 20 countries joining us online today. And before introducing our panel, I would like to run through a few practicalities to make sure that you make the most of this experience. So please feel free to use the public chat on the right-hand side to say hello, who you are and where you're from. For access purposes, this session will be captioned. We strongly encourage you to engage in the debate and the discussion and to ask questions to our panelists. To do so, please use the public chat on the right-hand side. Recordings of all the sessions will be made available to view on the Feedloop platform just after the event and until Friday, the 11th of June. And a British Sign interpreted version of all recordings will be made available after BIDF. Please feel free to comment, post, and tweet about the event using the hashtags ODC21 and UK Dance Showcase, and make sure that you follow BIDF, Dance 4, and Xtrax on social media, as we will be sharing some follow-up resources. Without further ado, and before I disappear, I'm very pleased to be introducing you to the chair for this session, our colleague and friend, Stéphane Segreto-Aguilar, Head of International Development at ARTCENA and Coordinator of the Circostrada network. Thank you so much, Stéphane, for joining us. We're delighted to have you here. I'll now give you the floor and to introduce our speakers and this session. Thank you.
Merci, Anaïs, and hello, everyone. And thank you, Birmingham International Dance Festival and Xtrax, for inviting me to chair this session. My name is Stéphane, and I'm a white man in his very late 30s. I'm actually going to be 40 on Monday. I have black hair, a very thick beard, thanks to COVID-19. And today I'm wearing a mustard t-shirt with light gray spots, and I use the pronouns he and his. So I am the coordinator of Circostrada, the European Network for Circus and Outdoor Arts. We are co-financed by the French Ministry of Culture and by the Creative Europe program of the European Commission. And I also work for ARTCENA, the French National Center for Circus Arts, Outdoor Arts, and Theatre. But enough about me. I'm going to introduce this session. Today's topic is dance in the public space, with a specific emphasis on international connections. Before I introduce our two fantastic speakers, I'm going to try to share a couple of specificities of this topic and also an opportunity for all of you. Although I'm French and I love to categorize everything and to define all things, I'm not going to do this for dance, for outdoor arts, or Europe, because trust me, there are many definitions also for Europe. However, what I want to share with you is that the artistic contamination that exists in dance in the public space. It is in between dance, circus, sport-related activities, outdoor arts, and creation in the public space. When we're thinking about dance in the public space, there is little space for isolation. Dance in the public space does not get you quarantined, and you only need to see it once to get your antibodies up and running. The second specificity I want to share about is the audience. We always talk about audience. We always try to enlarge it, diversify it, expand it. However, when we're talking about audience in the public space, we're talking about citizens as well. Of course, the public space can be dedicated to art or not, but when art happens in the public space, we can share values, we can create commons. Hopefully, we can increase democratic practices and engagement. And in the end, we make society. Of course, let's not be naive. It's not because something happens in the public space that automatically turns public engagement and touches all walks of life. It's a real job. However, something very interesting that has been happening in the past year is that many theaters and venues across Europe have grown an interest into the public space and to develop projects outside, to engage with territories, communities, to have activities deeply rooted with communities. The third aspect I want to share, since this is all about international connection, is how we rethink international connections. So I'm going to propose you to look out for a reshaped network and the article on translocality, which is being shared right now, I think, in the chat. And translocality allows us to rethink how we connect between borders. And instead of thinking about international as a way of copying one practices and transposing it into another context, the idea is to rethink our international artistic ambition in a way that are locally embedded. Of course, just saying this in one sentence, it makes it really complicated, but the article that is being shared is really thorough on this practice. The one opportunity that I want to share with you is Perform Europe. So this is a new project launched recently by the European Commission, which is currently managed by IETM, European Dance House Network, Circostrada, and IFA, European Festival Association, together with Idea Consult. So it's a project to rethink how we imagine the circulation of performing arts in the European countries, UK included. So don't worry, you can be part of this. The call is out right now, so you can check on the website of Perform Europe, and officially you will be able to apply as soon as the 15th of June. So I recommend you read these 2 pages on Perform Europe that are being shared right now, and that you try and think of all the values that are shared in this project on sustainability, inclusion, diversity, and also digitalization. And if you have any other question on this, you can contact me later. So without any further ado, I'm going to give the floor to the 2 fantastic speakers that are joining us today, so they can introduce themselves. Tena, Gintare, can you say hi?
Hi, everybody. I'm Tena Busquets from Sismògraf Festival in Olot, Catalonia. I'm a red-haired woman in my early 50s. Today I'm wearing my orange glasses and also my orange jewelry, and also my orange blouse. I use the pronouns she, her, and I'm very happy to be here in this panel discussion. Thank you to Birmingham Festival, thank you to Extract, and thank you to Stéphane and Gintare to share these few moments with us.
Thank you so much, Tena, and welcome to this session. Gintare, the floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Gintare Masteikaite. I'm from Lithuania, Vilnius. I represent Lithuanian Dance Information Center. I'm a woman in my late 30s, blonde, short hair. I wear big earrings today and white t-shirts. I'm very happy to be here and to share our experience and to talk more about our regions. And I'm so grateful to be together with Tena, who is super experienced in this topic, and I'm quite new. And it's good to be surrounded by colleagues. So thank you again, and looking forward.
Thank you so much, Gintare. So just to tell you how this is going to work out today, I'm going to give the floor first to Tena. So she's going to have an introduction, and she's going to talk for about 6 to 8 minutes. I'm going to take back the floor so I can share some thoughts on vertical dance, and I'm going to show you a beautiful video of a French company called Retour. Then I'm going to give the floor back to Gintare again for 6 to 8 minutes, and then we're going to have 40 minutes, the three of us, but also with all of you, for a Q&A portion. And then in the end, Anaïs is going to come back and she's going to wrap up and she's going to wish us a good day. So this is the plan of the day, and my job is done for the moment. And I'm going to give the floor back to Tena. Tena, all you.
So hello again. As I said, I'm the artistic director of Sismògraf Festival, and I'm also the head of performing arts area in Olot City Hall Cultural Services. So we have kind of holistic regarding to the performing arts in the city, and also in the shire around us, little villages are around. We are in the middle of a natural park, a volcanic park. We have almost 40 volcanoes, sleeping volcanoes around us. So we are in a place where landscape is very important and very present in the life of every one of the citizens we inhabit here. So the dialogue between natural and urban, it's also present in most of our cultural projects. The festival, Sismògraf, that we said it's the festival that detects movement. It's a little bit in the line that Stéphane says before. We said movement, we said not dance, because we understand that when you put the body in an artistic situation, borders are often difficult to be marked. Sometimes you couldn't say that it's dance, that it's circus, that it's, and more and more, and especially as Stéphane said, in public space, borders are very smoky. So we are now we are in trying to rethink a little bit our festival in order to be a little bit more sustainable, in order to be to present a project a little bit more eco-responsive. I think the transition, the ecological transition in all our cultural activities, it's not a desire, it's a need that we have at this moment, and also to think our projects in a more resilience and resistance way. And at least it means in a more political way also. Now I want to share with you a video that explains a little bit who we are, the festival, and where we are also. And if I think the video appears. That's all for the moment, I think. Yeah.
Super. Thank you so much for sharing this very interesting video. And we're going to talk more about sustainability later and compare also how we understand sustainability. Also, what does it mean in Spain? What does it mean in Lithuania and across Europe? And also specifically for the dance sector, because there has been a lot of talks about ecological sustainability. A very French choreographer, of course, mentioned something quite for so many years. And however, there was also a Mexican choreographer, very interesting, who was at some point based in Belgium, who answered that letter by Jérôme Bel. So there is many things to talk.
Very interesting correspondence, Stéphane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also because, of course, we tend to speak about, you know, how much we need to be aware, how much we need to change, but also how can we also ensure that we ecological responsibility matches also our understanding of social inequalities. But I'm just going to put it there, and then we see how we can talk about this later together with Gintare. And before I give the floor to Gintare, I think it's my time to share some words on vertical dance. This is going so fast, really. So vertical dance for everybody. Why did I want to share something about vertical dance? Because for me, it is extremely, it screams at the same time movement, dance, but also outdoor arts. It's really so specific. So I wanted to share this, tell you a little bit, very tiny things about the history. So just to tell you that it started, of course, in the 60s and in the 70s, especially through a series of experimentations in the US. We can think about Alwyn Nicolais, Anna Alprin, rest in power, Anna, Trisha Brown, of course. And in the 80s, it sort of settled in between something around aerial dance, circus, and also outdoor climbing. I was mentioning at the beginning the cross between also sport-like activities, all right? So you have many companies. For instance, you have Rocky Niken, Rotouramont, Les Lézards Bleus in France. Don't worry about the names. I'm sure there is an article right now shared on ARTCENA on our website. It's in French, but you can translate it automatically with some tool. And also there is another website which I'm going to share at the end. There are companies also in the UK, Gravity and Levity, for instance. There is Scarabaeus Aerial Theatre. In Ireland, the fantastic Fidget Fit aerial. Il Posto in Italy, Isteria Nova in Croatia. And what you need to keep in mind before I share this video, which is fantastic from Compagnie Rotouramont, is how much it is visual, how much it is architectural. Specificities around the vertical dance is that it allows you to change the way you look at your environment. Really, it is extremely poetic because it allows you to reinvent the city as a space for desire. And also, it contributes to reinforcing the social fabric of society. But enough about words. I think we need to see some images as well, because they will speak for themselves. So I'm going to say, hi, technical. Kieran, launch the video, please. So as you can see, images are very strong. The video is beautiful and breathtaking. Thank you for the comments in the chat. And it was much more, you know, it is self-explanatory, basically. However, if you want to dig further, there is this website called Vertical Dance Forum, which originated from a European cooperation project between 7 organizations across Europe, with one in Canada as well. So you can dig in, it's in English as well. There are some publications, or you can do some reading, contact the companies. And again, if you want to know more, there is also the French page of ARTCENA. And also you can contact me later on. But for now, enough of vertical dance, and it's the time to give the floor to our Lithuanian Gintare. So Gintare, the floor is yours.
Hello, it's nice to be called Lithuanian Gintare. Yeah, my name means amber in English. So to talk about Lithuania and dance, first we have to start from what I'm doing. So I'm leading Dance Information Center. This is a dance, like structural organization, an umbrella organization to support development of professional contemporary dance in Lithuania, also to promote abroad. And one of our main and most visible activity is International Contemporary Dance Festival called New Baltic Dance Festival, which actually celebrates 25 years anniversary this year. And we have launched a program just a few hours ago. And this festival is one of the festivals actually, when the pandemic hit, started to promote and to support outdoor activities, dance outdoor activities in Lithuania. When we're talking about dance and public spaces, it's important to understand that Lithuania is really traditional theater country, or a theater country. It means we have a tradition to go to theaters to see theater and dance. It's not so common to create performances in general for outdoor spaces. But actually, a few years ago, the situation started to change slowly. And we have now several artists and companies who are really interested in creating performances for outdoors and for landscapes. And I will show you some examples. Also because next year we will have a European Capital of Culture, KONAS 2022. So when the city won this title, they decided to really push forward, activities related with public spaces, as well as work in collaboration with local communities. It means what we are using the city and the city region as a big stage. So I want to show you several examples, how it looks here in Lithuania. So first of all, I was talking about the company. So Šeiko Dance Company is a regional company. They're based in Klaipėda region. It's the third biggest city in Lithuania, close to the seaside. And they do a lot of dance, music, collaborations, immersive theater, and site-specific performances. And some examples, how it looks. It's dancing in dunes. It's very popular. You can see, so they're using landscape. Also, they're using a city as a stage. This is a new performance. And New Baltic Dance Festival. So last year, because of a pandemic, we couldn't, organize a proper dance festival as we used to. So we decided to present performances outdoors in a city, in different cities, and to work more with regions. And how it looked, here is Viktor Chernivsky from Czech Republic. Most of you know him very well. He was touring in Lithuania. And actually last year I was thinking about a new term. It's called, I really like it. It's called slow programming. So I understood what I really need to find companies and artists who wants to spend more time in one country and to have a longer tour. And this, and actually we tried this idea last year with 2 companies, and it worked very well. So we could, have more time to explore spaces. We had more time to share experiences. We had more time to have a deeper engagement with local audience, and also to meet local professionals. Here also you see here it's our Lucas Carvalhes. He's a young artist, and he presented his first solo performance for outdoor spaces. Actually, it's dedicated for bus or metro stations. Here's also some examples, and some examples from Europe Capital of Culture, how they used dance in public spaces. They actually, during the pandemic and before pandemic, they start creating special programs called Culture in a Yard. So they propose a special artistic program, not to present in a city centers like we did most of it. We usually do that. It's very easy to create festivals and art programs for city centers, but we went outside city centers in small districts in different yards, and artists performed actually in the forest, in small villages around the city, under the balconies. And here you can see this beautiful photo actually from a premiere which was made like 2 weeks ago. It was raining, but the dancers still were dancing. Here it's like, we have a river, the field, and also beautiful. And here's graveyard, also a dance show. So everywhere, dance is everywhere. And yeah, actually we're exploring new forms, how to work and how to have more dance in public spaces and outdoor spaces. And actually this year a festival program is created specially for not traditional venues. So one venue is museum, so we will have performances inside museum, and another one is for outdoors. It's actually we also using a museum as a space, but just outdoor places. So we will see how it will work. But actually, I really love the concept, and I love how we can incorporate dance in architecture, in a city life, also to meet new audience in different spots or on their way somewhere, and to accidentally appear in front and to say hello. So that's all from my side, and later we can talk more about our ideas and what's happening in Lithuania and around.
Thank you so much, Gintare. And sorry for before, my tongue slipped. I just wanted to say our Lithuanian star, and the word star just slipped, and I said Lithuanian Gintare. So I think now we can, but now we can have a conversation, the three of us, maybe. I think some topics were raised and are, very interesting, from ecological sustainability, social inequalities. You mentioned deep mobility somehow without talking about this directly, and slow programming. I see the comment from Maggie as well. So what I'm interested to hear is really a concrete practice that you are trying to experiment or implementing already in your festival, in your activities, or that you have seen around, that could actually be shared with the audience and actually be, let's copy good practices. So what can we share with the audience today? Any of you, Tena, Gintare, whoever wants to go first, please.
I can start, if it's okay, Tena, for you, yeah? So for example, this deep mobility, or like what I had in mind actually to work more with with colleagues from region. For example, if we bring a company in a country, we don't need to bring the company just for 1 or 2 shows. So we want to share, and it's not about creating a tour, around, but actually looking for some connections with the smaller towns or other cities, and finding connections between different communities. And actually, I really like it. This also the same. It's like deep mobility or slow programming. I think it's about the same, but we should maybe work with less artists at the same time. For example, our festival, it's already like 25 years and had a long history of huge program, international program. We used to bring like 20 companies, 15 companies, and they come, they perform, and they leave. We did it before. It was like normal thing. And now, because of all the climate change, all these actions, and all pandemia, what showed us, what we have to find a way to work differently. What does it mean? For me, it means what I could create more, space for artists in my country, in my festival, space to show works, to show maybe 2 different works, when they come, a company, they can come with 2 different shows, not 1 show. So my audience can really have a chance to get to know the company. Because, for example, us, we are not like France, we can't bring the same company every year, and big names, for example. We can bring, sometimes, most of the time, we bring the artists, just for 1 time. I mean, we can't repeat it because we don't have money. Our budgets are quite small. So I was like checking the budget, and I understood what if I bring the same group of people, I can do 2 or 3 different shows of a company, and they give amazing opportunity for my audience to explore this company, to get to know the company. Also, for this means less flights, less expenses in general. And also companies is more happier because they have more, work at the same spot. Also, I have a chance to really to create a space for the discussions and dialogue between my artist and, the company. In the end, probably it will happen something in the future, because usually when people meet and if they connect, always something beautiful happens, but you don't know when. And for example, if you're talking about outdoors, it's so important to go outside theaters, especially now during the pandemic or after pandemic, because in Lithuania now the theaters are open, but all companies are struggling because audience not coming back. They're still afraid. So we have to work with, this audience. We also have to find new audiences. And how to find new audiences? You have to go to them, you have to go to different, spaces. You have to go to museums. You have to work with, different companies and actually different culture fields. And I'm really now interested in collaboration between, for example, this year we have this beautiful collaboration between visual scene and dance scene, and they know what we will bring audience to them, and they will bring audience to us.
Thank you so much, Gintare. Questions are popping up already in the chat, so I invite you also to, share your thoughts, anything. Tena, I'm pretty sure that this resonates with your practice as well, but do you think that this new way of doing, trying deep mobilities or hybrid mobilities, as we say, to have a slow programming, are we going to continue to do this in the future? Does this mean that actually we will have to program less artists, so in the end less artists will be supported? I'm being a bit controversial now, thanks to Maggie. So how do you think about this?
We really experienced this slow programming in our 2022 edition of the festival last April. In fact, we thought this edition festival with this idea, enlarging in the time and in the space all the festival. In fact, this year the festival runs for a month, 4 weeks. So it's hard for the team because we are a small team, but I think it's really great, as Gintare says, for the artists, for the invited artists, for the local artists, and for the audiences also. Enlarging in the time allows us to present the same artists that we usually present in a long weekend from Thursday to Sunday, as it was usual in last editions of the festival. So we don't leave anyone behind. We present more or less the same number of companies, but in this slowly way, more they can arrive with time to install, to know the places, to know the teams, the technical teams, to know the local artists, to share artistic impressions with the festival team also, and all these kind of things. Enlarging in the space, what another idea, as also Gintare says, for us this year we experienced with 10 spots around the city where we present also activities of the festival. Some of them are little villages, and it's a public presenter who did, but in most of them are artists or companies who are based in little villages trying to develop a project, projects between residents, creative places, and a place to live. Pandemics are not expulsing, but are pandemic are I think more and more people every time it's going to leave big cities and live in places that are more comfortable, not only in natural sense, but also places with cultural life and good schools for children and welfare state, but not in big cities. And we are in a place like that. We are far from Barcelona, but not so far. We are far from the sea, but not so far. We are far from the snow, but not so far. So we are in a really good middle place that attracts a lot of people, especially in this last year. And most of them are artists. So they are creating these artistic or these creative places around the city, and we need to work networking with them, because if not, we are not working well. I mean, it's necessary also to sustain our big public project with all these creative minds around.
Thank you so much, Tena, for bringing this up.
Can I just
sure,
comment to this controversial question about diversity, less diversity, and negative effect? But we will program less artists. But actually, we should think, and I was like thinking during all the pandemic period, what, you know, we created this insane system to create performances every year, few even during the year, during the season. It's it's overwhelming of the quantity of performances we have already on the table. And when we're talking about sustainability, we should also maybe think about how long live one performance, how much you have to invest and how many times you can show. So if we go to another direction and we will go to this less artists, longer, tours in one or another country, maybe it could help artists to really to tour their work longer and not to focus to new creations every year, because we have this insane machine was going before, and it's impossible because every year we have new artists coming from schools, the number of festivals staying the same, money, financial side is almost the same, maybe somewhere is going even down. So we have to really rethink again how we're working, because it's impossible to bring all artists, it's impossible to show all works, but maybe we should focus more to quality, not to quantity, and then we can help artists to show their works.
But maybe we have to help administrations to change the public funding for the companies. I mean, if companies need every year to create a new work to have the fundings, this is
it's like one system that actually it's affect one side, it's affect another side, but actually we should probably, this is the best time to change it now. or to start changes.
Completely. I mean, the pandemic is a portal, right? If we agree with the words of Arundhati Roy, she wrote this article last March in 2020. It's still true. Let's try to work around this if we can, if we're if we're able to. However, what I hear as well is that the way also the funding is functioning, the discussion with the funders and the stakeholders needs to change, and it's happening to a certain extent. And also we also think about, the way it works is an artist produces a performances, they show it at a festival, and that's how they earn money. But maybe it's also this that needs to be, requalified, because you can find other ways of working with artists and artists working with territories and cities, and to actually have also an economic value, because at the end of the month you need to pay the rent, of course. And MMB festivals become also something else. Not only they extend, but they have another role in society. So I think this is, we probably don't have all the answers, but I think it's the time to test and also to engage in a conversation with everyone, not only, us, but is those who program, those who have the power, the artists, the citizens, the audience, the stakeholder, the financial stakeholders, and also to have this conversation not only at national level, because of course, in some markets, you may be, sufficient, but in many countries across Europe, you need, for mere economical reason, you need to actually import and export. Sorry for these economical terms, but also to engage with other realities. I think in the future, we'll still, I don't know, in Lithuania and in Spain, I'm pretty sure you still want to have international connection. I mean, of course, it's an obvious question, but can I hear you say yes?
Of course, yes. It's impossible to think about, our work without international context. I mean, it's so connected. We can't avoid it. It's impossible.
And also, what does it bring? What does it bring to work with a company, who develops their project in another country, to bring it to Lithuania, and also to work with Lithuanian artists that go somewhere else? And same for Catalonia. You are very much in Catalonia connected internationally. So how are you going to experience this in the future editions of your festivals, for instance?
In fact, Gintare and I, our festivals are connected with a new Creative Europe program that it's called Big Pulse Dance Alliance. It's pretty new. We start in the middle of the chaos, and one of the main lines of our project is an open call for open air productions that we are very surprised about the quality of the projects we received. Isn't it, Gintare?
Yeah, we have received like more than 267 applications. Yeah, and we had few sleepless nights to read all of them. But actually, it's amazing and fantastic how many artists interested in working in public spaces or recreating already existing works. And actually, when we're talking about sustainability and when we're talking about our common projects, we thought that it's super important not just to support new works or new creations, but actually to give a second life for already existing ideas or creations. It's also, when we talk about sustainability, it's connected. So we want to support artists who already did some maybe smaller scale performances, and now with our support as a network, they can scale up the ideas, the performances, also to work in every country. They can work with local artists to recreate performances on local teams. So we will still keep this international connections. We don't bring maybe all the already existing show, but we bring the core team and they can work with our artists.
And oh, sorry.
Go, Tena.
No, I want to say that just all these international networks and projects that we have helps us to know more and to transport it to our national and local networks that are also very important. For example, we have in a Catalan level, we have artsdecarrer.cat. I think someone shares the link in the chat. And it's not only a dance network, but for all festivals that are working in street and public space events. And also we have, we are part of A Cielo Abierto, that it's a Spanish network of all the dance festivals who present pieces at open air and public space and site specific. For us, these two networks are very useful, but also being in an international network, because in every scale we need these connections, and we need to share artists and good practices with all this in all these contexts.
We have many questions around the issue of diversity and how do we give space to new voices? Because of course, you know, is there a tendency to always support the same artist? If I'm a new artist, what can I do? You know, do you have a concrete advice? So how does this resonate in your practice, Gintare?
Yeah, I saw these questions. Actually, it's very interesting because for me, I mean, it's, you know, it's all the artistic directors who are leading festivals, they have to take responsibility. They have to really take responsibility and to think what they are doing and how they're programming and how they're supporting this art, all the, you know, the diversity, the system of, you know, like change, how we support new names, how we support upcoming artists, how we also supporting already existing and well-known companies. And nobody can tell you how you should program probably, yeah? You should really stand, look at your program and decide how you're going to do. For example, this year I have 6 international companies and just 1 company is well-known. I mean, well-known artists. 5 artists are young, just starting, you know, experimenting. They are from the region or they are from somewhere else. But it's my choice to support artists who just starting because it's pandemic, and for them it's probably more harder than you know, for established companies. But it's really up to artistic directors. And I know what we had before pandemic. We had so many conversations, different festivals, you know, heads of different festivals. We are talking, we should take responsibility. It's our responsibility. Yes, we have power. Who is going to be on the stage? And we have to use it very carefully and to be very honest with ourselves. I don't know, maybe it's not, you know, like for all of like festivals, but it's our responsibility. I really believe it. And, you know, if you can't do it personally, it's your fault, you know, it's up to you actually who will be on your stage and which companies will be seen by your audience. So I'm really, I think we should, every time when we program and bring, you know, we decide who's going to come, we should really think what we have on the table, you know, when we're talking about cultural diversity, social diversity, all the diversities we can just imagine. We have really to, maybe not, it's impossible probably to tackle all the boxes because sometimes it's just impossible for many reasons, but we have to try.
Thank you for being so frank and direct, Gintare. I love this. Tena, what does, you know?
No, I mean, it's not an option. All these items that Gintare said, it's not an option. I think it's our responsibility. And we have to incorporate in our way of working all these things: diversity, sustainability, networking. There's a lot of things that we have to have in mind when we start to the puzzle or the jigsaw of programming a festival or. But I mean, it's not an option.
Thank you.
We
Thank
must.
you, definitely. And I agree with the comment of Donna that's saying, you know, it's not because you do basically an open call that it's enough to reach out to a diverse set of people. You have to actually go, you know, proactively and engage with, you know, the communities that have been absent either in your program or in your audience. And again, you know, for me, what stays in my mind, at least in the past few months, is that the difficult process when we work is that we have to think of all of these things and to intersect them, because we cannot think them separately, because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to say, you know, if I'm an artistic company based in Paris, taking a plane, it hasn't the same meaning if I'm an artistic company based in Beirut, you know? And who am I to tell the artistic company in Lebanon to say, oh, I'm sorry, you cannot take the plane because it's not ecological or responsible. So we cannot fall into binaries and into, you know, yes and no answer. Reality is complex. These issues are so complex. They need complex answers as well. And we also have to be kind with ourselves and say, you know, this is, we're trying, and we will probably fail at some point. We will try again and do better, because we all believe in the same thing. I want to try to go back to, you know, to the topic of, you know, dance in the public space, because it's the public space that we're talking about. And so why is it important for you to do things in the public space today and tomorrow, because of the context that has been so, you know, changing in the past 18 months?
We present, I think 2 or 3 years ago, a piece of a Quebecois dancer, Caroline Norin-Bocage. The piece is Habiter sa mémoire. And it's a piece that could be put in a no space everywhere. And she says a thing that I always love, because she said, if only someone saw me eyesight, dance remains always in his soul or in her soul. I mean, for me, it's really why we do things in the public space, because in public space means the audience and the no audience, but means the possibility to be a citizen and audience at the same time. And for me, this is the main.
Thank you, Tena. Gintare.
That's beautiful, Tena. Yeah, I mean, for us also, I think it's important to reach out all, you know, audience, and not just audience who can buy a ticket, who is familiar with theater, you know, with this culture to go to theater, to attend festival, but actually to meet random people in random places and to open their eyes. Sometimes it's really eye-opening experience. And last year we had quite a ride actually in small towns with Victor Chernitsky performance, and we went to a super small town in a remote place, and we put this contemporary dance performance. Actually, it's not a performance, you know, too easy to tour in a region, because no music, no dance, just chairs and one guy tapping on, you know, on the floors. And I had this 40-minute experience when the audience, from very beginning, they start shouting, talking, commenting, asking where is the concert, why is no music, why he's trying to promote chairs, you know, maybe it's like selling chairs or whatever. And after 20 minutes, audience starts to change, you know, they start to recognize what's happening on the stage. And after 40 minutes, like 35 minutes, people start clapping after everything he did. He put chair, they were clapping. He just put another chair, they were clapping. And after 40 minutes, people, it were standing ovations. I was watching, you know, audience. They were amazed, happy. They went to talk to him, Lithuanian, you know, they asked him in Lithuanian when he's coming back. because we want to see more. And for me, it was, I have to trust audience. And from last year, I always, it's my, like then I start conversation about programming, about why we bring this contemporary conceptual dance in the region. I say, I trust my audience. I trust people. I give them a chance to know performances, and they can decide after if they liked it or not. But this is a beautiful, encounter between audience and artist. And it's a beautiful, when something beautiful happens, because people, how they can know they didn't have a chance to see it during childhood, during, time in school, during, whatever. So we have to give more chances to experience the beauty of dance in different spaces.
It's really about sharing power. And I know we have 10 minutes left to discuss between each other before Anais pops up and does the wrap up. And I have a few questions around, Brexit, because of course we have a lot of the people participating in the session today who are from the UK, and they wonder how they keep, having connection with European partners and artists. How does it work in the future for you, from your point of view? What kind of advice can you share? And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to share 2 pieces of advice. First of all, there's going to be the creation of a mobility info point for the UK quite soon, together with On the Move, the network for mobility for artists and cultural professionals, and together with the Arts Council of the 4 nations. And as far as I know, Extracts works to support touring post-Brexit as well, and has a Brexit guide online. Very well done. So, Tena, Gintare, from your perspective, Brexit happened. How can you keep in touch with what suggestion can you share to keep in touch?
Just stay in touch. I mean, it's, nothing cut. I mean, all the networks are still working. It's maybe harder to travel now, but I mean, we still, from our side, we have all the connections. And here we are now, no? We are part of this event, so we are in collaboration. And Brexit is not the reason not to do a collaboration with the, UK artists. It's not at all. We just need to find a way how to do it much in easy way for both sides. But I don't think so. What someone is cutting, bridges and saying, no, we're not going to work anymore. We will, for sure, because it's not about country. It's about artists. It's about quality. It's about art art piece. It's if you have a, amazing idea, if you have a beautiful artwork, the world is open.
Gintare for president. Tena, what can you tell us from your side?
No, it's the same. It's just I don't know if because I post Brexit I don't really did any contract yet, but maybe it's just the only problem we will have a legal or a contractual or economic one, but. I mean, for us, nothing changes. It's about the artistic that we talk about. So, in fact, we are in the middle of an invitation that COVID stops with some British companies. We present British companies, and we will present in the future British companies, and we have. Companies based medium in Britain and medium in Catalonia, Human Hood, for example, that we work with them very often. So I think it's not an artistic. The Brexit is not an artistic problem. Maybe we have some legal or economic problems, but it's not an artistic issue.
And we know how to find ways around legal matters. We are specialized around this. And so thank you for this answer. And thank you, Ralph, for sharing the project Sparse, very interesting European project around, creation in rural places and touring in rural places. And thank you, Maggie, for specifying.
Ralph, I can't see you.
And
they're doing a very, very big and
totally
wonderful work. Yeah.
Completely.
Actually, we have partners in Lithuania. So the company I mentioned, they are partners.
So you see the connection already here.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
The difficult thing this year was, however, to establish new connections for eventually newcomers or new people coming in. I mean, let's be honest, this was difficult this year, but yeah, we'll see how it goes next year. I know we only have 5 minutes left, but there is one thing I want to ask, which is very tricky. Gintare, you mentioned the word quality quite a few times. It's a tricky one, you know. So give us a little bit of an insight of what you mean by quality, because it's often this kind of word that we say, oh, you know, it's quality, and you know, it's a screen word. And do we hide behind quality or not? What do you mean by quality?
Probably sometimes we hide. I mean, I should admit, but it's very personal. Probably, you know, how you understand the quality in general and what does mean quality, and probably each, person who's in charge of choosing companies, he has his personal quality understanding. You know, we have taste also. Yeah, we can call it taste. It's my taste to bring these companies, not others. But also, you know, I'm fighting with myself because I like to speak very directly and to say, to put something on the table and to provoke myself. You know, I do that because I provoke myself to be better programmer. And I, you know, when I started to be an artistic director, I was like 2 years, I was bringing companies, just I was falling in love, you know, like my taste companies. And then I realized after 2 years, no, but it's not actually fair, because I have to show more for my audience. I cannot build this, you know, festival just around my taste and to have audience who, you know, who just learning from my taste, because the world is much bigger, where, you know, the diversity of dance in general is much bigger, and we have to show diversity, but quality, you know, like, I mean, I'm trying to find quality. I don't know how to describe it. I call it a sixth sense, you know, like I feel it. It's like here, I can feel it when it's a quality. I know what my audience will like it or not like it, or it will challenge my audience. I more like works those challenging audience, you know, raising questions, putting discussions on the table. So it's very sensitive question. I don't know how to answer, but I'm trying to do my best when I choose companies.
Thank you again for your honesty, and also for pointing out, you know, the egocentric nature of our taste and quality understanding, you know, and recognizing that together with the fairness approach that we can have, and the fact that you're not alone, you are with your audience as well, with the artists, and it's not a solitary adventure, let's say. Tena, how does this resonate with you?
I will repeat exactly the words that Gintare says. Yeah, we have, I think, we have a backpack with a lot of inputs. Your community, other artistic directors of other festivals, your information critics, the issues that you want to put on the table to be discussed in your context, being coherent with the issues you want to present and the aims you're trying to. So, I mean, with all this backpack, we try to work and we try to do our better. And you change. I mean, I said I'm my early 50s, so I'm. I have some experience, and you change your mind and you incorporate more items to work every time you, and culture and performing arts especially are life. I mean, life, not only life in the sense of not non-virtual, are life in the sense of evolution. And if you add an R, it's revolution. So
yeah, thank you
it's
for
a
bringing.
It's a way.
For bringing the idea of fluidity as well, because, you know, we are ever changing human beings, not only in our personal lives, but also in our professional lives. And we grow, and we change and we adapt also. And again, we do with the environment, whether it is, the ecosystem in which we're working, not only, the financial ecosystem, but also, aesthetic ecosystem. I didn't ask you this question of how has it been evolving the outdoor arts dance in your country in the past 10 years, but, it has been changing a lot. And I know that I have only 1 minute left before I give back the floor to Anaïs. However, do you want to share something very last minute in 30 seconds each? Is there something burning up that yes, Tena, I see your hand. No, it's a no. It's a no.
No, I'm saying no. Hello, Leticia.
Okay.
I just can say, but we should stay in this international collaboration how we can in different ways, because that's how we learn. And actually, I totally agree with Tena, but during your work, during meetings with artists, because artists also challenging you, they ask questions, they work challenging you as a person who is, creating a festival. So it's like, it's back and forth, you're not just doing everything from your own perspective, but through the year, through all these international activities, meetings, fairs, discussions, you learn so much. And then someone puts a very tough question or direct question, then it's like, okay, I have to think about it. So we should be very straight with each other. We should ask questions and we should challenge each other both ways. Then we can learn, grow, and do better.
Yeah, permanent learning. Yeah.
Well, I think these are my 2 takeaways of this session. So thank you so much, Gintare and Tena. It's been so exciting and so short and so fast, basically. I mean, I could keep talking with you for hours, I guess, and still miss the fact that we cannot hang out and have a beer afterwards. But I mean, pretty soon. I'm sorry I couldn't take all the questions, but I'm pretty sure Extract will provide some answer at some point. And I think now it's time for me to call Anaïs back.
I am back. Thank you so much, Stéphane. Thank you, everybody, for attending this session. And a special thanks to Tena and Gintare and Stéphane for a brilliant session. I think particularly around how we can work in more sustainable ways going forward when looking at programming and creating and touring work. And also the discussion around how we can continue to build connections with Europe in a post-Brexit landscape. Thank you, Stéphane, for mentioning the Extract's Brexit guide. It's a very useful tool for outdoor arts companies coming in and out of Britain. And we've just added a checklist to help you understand what the new rules are in a simple way. So I think my colleague Natalie shared the link in the chat. And I also think that my colleague Maggie mentioned in the chat that we're looking at doing some regular drop-in sessions for both artists and promoters to ask questions very informally about the impact of Brexit in terms of presenting work on both sides of the channel. If you're an outdoor artist and you have any questions about Brexit, please get in touch with the Extracts team and we'll do our best to support you. So I would just like to remind you that we have a couple more sessions for today, starting with our artist pitching session, which will start at 11:30 UK time. I think that's just under 15 minutes away from now. While you hear from 7 companies from the UK and Europe. And we'll finish with our digital marketplace event at 2 p.m. UK time, where you'll be able to connect with exhibitors live on their booth. So once again, thank you everyone. Thank you to our listeners, to our panel, and I hope to see you very soon for the artist pitching sessions. Thank you.